Hey, you, welcome back to Medium with the Mic. I'm Kari, your host, your psychic medium, your empath in residence, and your guide through all things mystical, scientific, and deeply, beautifully human. So pull up a chair because today we are opening a portal. August 8th, 8 the Lion's Gate portal. Now I know some of you have been waiting for this episode. You've seen the memes, you've seen the posts, you felt something building in your chest as we roll into August. And you want to know, is this real? What's actually happening astronomically? And what does it mean astronomically? And why do intuitives, mystics, and energy workers absolutely light up like a switchboard at this time of year? We're going to cover all of it today: science, astrology, and what this means for you as an intuitive, awakened being navigating your human experience. And I'll tell you right now, this is one of those episodes where the science and the spiritual are not fighting each other. They're actually saying the same thing in different languages. So let's go. Let's start at the very beginning because this story is ancient. We are talking thousands of years of human beings looking up at the night sky and noticing something extraordinary. The star Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in Earth's night sky. Full stop. Not the biggest, not the closest, but the brightest visual star from Earth. It sits in the constellation Canis Major, the great dog, and it has been tracked, worshipped, studied, and revered by cultures all over the world for millennia. The ancient Egyptians, the Dogon people of Mali, West Africa, the Sumerians, the Greeks, the Romans, all of them watching this star. Now, here's some pure astrology for you. Sirius is a binary star system. That means what looks like one star is actually two: Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius A is the big, brilliant one you can see with the naked eye. It's about twice the mass of our sun and 25 times more luminous. The light you see from Sirius left that star about 8.6 years ago. That's how far away it is. When you look at Sirius, you are looking 8.6 light years into the past in this human concept of time. Sirius B is a white dwarf, the collapsed remnant of what was once a much larger star, dense beyond imagination. It orbits Sirius A roughly every 50 years. Now, here's something that's really cool. And pay attention, intuitives, because this is where the science gets eerie. The Dogon people of Mali in West Africa have known about the existence of Sirius B for centuries, possibly millennia, before Western astronomy confirmed it with telescopes in 1862. Anthropologists who documented the Dogon tradition in the 1930s found that their cosmological tradition included knowledge of Sirius B's 50-year orbital period, its extreme density, and its companion relationship to Sirius A, all without any telescope, all without modern astronomy. How? That is a question that still has not been fully answered by science, and it is one that I love to think about. I believe I know the answer. How about you? Okay, so here's the astronomy, and I want to be clear and honest with you here because I think that the truth of what's happening is actually more interesting than the simplified version. Every year around late July and into August, Sirius makes what astronomers call its heliacal rising. That's a gorgeous term. heliacal from Helios and the Greek sun god. The heliacal rising of a star is the moment it first becomes visible on the eastern horizon, just before sunrise, after a period of weeks where it was completely invisible, lost in the glare of the sun. It essentially reemerges from behind the sun and rises into view just before dawn. A cosmic reappearance. For Sirius, this happens in the window of roughly late July through mid August, depending on your geographical location on Earth. In ancient Egypt, specifically in the Nile Delta region, the heliacal rising of Sirius was one of the most important events of the entire year, not just spiritually, but practically, because the reappearance of Sirius on the horizon correlated precisely with the annual flooding of the Nile River, the flooding that deposited rich, fertile silt across the floodplain and made Egyptian agriculture possible, the flooding that quite literally sustained life. The ancient Egyptians tracked this star with extraordinary precision. They personified Sirius as the goddess Sopdet, depicted as a woman with a five-pointed star above her head. When Sopdet rose, the Nile would flood, and when the Nile flooded, abundance would follow. They called this moment their new year. Now, due to something called the precession of the equinoxes, a slow wobble in the Earth's axis that takes about 26,000 years to complete, the heliacal rising of Sirius doesn't land on the exact same calendar date it did in ancient Egypt. The stars shift over time relative to our calendar. So the August 8th date, that is a modern, spiritually designated peak that honors the tradition rather than a precise astronomical calculation. It varies slightly depending on where you are on Earth and the year. So when you put these together, the sun in its home sign, blazing at full Leo power, in temporal alignment with Sirius, the spiritual sun, you get a moment of profound amplification. Physical vitality meeting soul vitality, the self meeting its higher expression. And all of this happening while Leo is inviting you to be seen, to be bold, to speak your truth and stand in your sovereignty. This is why intuitives feel this portal. There is a real celestial configuration here, and it has a real energetic quality that you can tune into. We haven't even gotten to the numbers yet, and oh, the numbers are good. August 8th, 8 8. Let's talk about the number 8. In numerology, 8 is the number of material manifestation. It represents the ability to translate thought into physical reality, to bring what exists in the energetic realm into form. It's the number of abundance, power, authority, and material mastery. But it's not just about money or success in the worldly sense. The 8 is also the number of karma, of cosmic law, of cause and effect. What you put out comes back. Did you ever notice that my podcasts and weekly emails post at 08:08 in the morning? Now, here's a visual that I love. Turn the number 8 on its side. What do you get? The infinity symbol. Endless cycles, eternal flow. The 8 is literally a symbol of infinity in upright form. When you write 8 8, two eights, you are working with a double infinity, amplified eternal flow. a numerological doorway. In Hermetic numerology, 8 is also the number that follows 7, which is considered the number of spiritual completeness, of rest, of the divine Sabbath. The 8 initiates a new octave, a new level. You completed the spiritual cycle of 7, and now the 8 opens the next layer of expansion. The eighth house in astrology, Scorpio's house, co ruled by Mars and Pluto in modern astrology, governs death and rebirth, deep transformation, hidden resources, the occult, the soul contracts. So, even astrologically, the number 8 carries a frequency of profound cellular level change. Put all of that together, 8 8, double infinity, double manifestation power, double transformation invitation. On the day when the sun in Leo aligns with Sirius, during the window when Sirius is rising in the pre dawn sky for the first time in months, inside a Leo eclipse corridor in 2026. I mean, come on. The universe is not subtle. When we celebrate any celebration on any date throughout history, it adds power. It gives the celebration energy. It breathes life into the event. So the timing being slightly off doesn't make it any less real because the window is real. Sirius is genuinely rising, genuinely becoming visible in the pre dawn sky, genuinely doing what it has done for thousands of years. And the human need to mark a specific date to pre designate a peak, to give people a moment to focus their intention, that is not fake. That is how sacred traditions work. That is how ritual has always worked. You anchor the energy to a moment so you can work with it. At the peak on August 8th, the sun is transiting through approximately 16 degrees of Leo. Sirius is technically located at 14 degrees in Cancer in terms of ecliptic longitude. What creates the alignment is the temporal synchronicity, the moment when the sun in Leo reaches the same degree of declination as Sirius, establishing what Hermetic traditions interpret as a channel of cosmic communication. And in 2026, I want to tell you this, we have something extra. Days after the Lionsgate peaks on August 8th, we move into a Leo solar eclipse corridor on August 12th. That is a 1-2 cosmic punch that makes this particular Lionsgate exceptionally potent for intention setting, rebirth, and energetic clearing. So mark your calendars. Now, let's talk astrology. And if you're someone who has always thought astrology is just your horoscope in the newspaper, buckle up because we're going deeper than that. The Lion's Gate gets its name from Leo. The sun transits through Leo from approximately July 22nd to August 22nd every year. Leo is the sign of the heart, the sign of sovereignty, of courage, self expression, authentic identity, and creative fire. Leo is ruled by the sun, which in astrology represents the self, the ego in its highest sense, personal identity, life force, and vitality. There is no other sign with this relationship to the sun. Leo is solar energy in zodiac form. So when the sun is in Leo, it is in its home sign. It is operating at full power, fully expressed, fully itself. The sun in Leo doesn't apologize, it doesn't shrink, it radiates. My busy mind says sunscreen. Now, layer onto that fixed star Sirius, known in the spiritual traditions as the spiritual sun. Think of our actual sun as the light that illuminates your physical reality, your days, your seasons, your body. Sirius in these traditions is the light that illuminates your soul, your higher self, your timeless, boundless nature. Some traditions literally call Sirius the great central sun of or the soul sun. And Sirius itself in classical Western astrology is associated with abundance, fertility, honor, fame, passion, and achievement. It has always been considered a star of power and benevolence when positively aspected. Now I want to talk to my people, my fellow intuitives, because if you're empathic, if you've developed your psychic, or if you're a medium, if you're someone who feels energy, you know that the Lion's Gate is not just something you read about. You feel it coming. I want to talk about why. There's a principle in energy work and in quantum physics that resonates deeply with me because everything is frequency. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, they all carry and emit electromagnetic frequencies. This is measurable. The heart generates the largest electromagnetic field in your body. It can be detected several feet away from your physical body. Your thoughts change your brain's electrical patterns. Your emotions change your body's chemistry. You are, at your core, a frequency emitting being. Now, stars also emit frequencies. Our sun emits solar radiation, solar wind, electromagnetic waves across the entire spectrum. We already know that the sun affects us, our circadian rhythms, our moods, and our biology. We know that geomagnetic storms from solar activity can affect everything from migraines to emotional sensitivity to electronics. The sun body connection is not a metaphor, it's physics. So, is it a stretch to suggest that a powerful fixed star, one that is 25 times more luminous than our sun, one that has been tracked and ceremonially honored by advanced civilizations across the globe for thousands of years, might also carry a frequency that sensitive human beings can feel? I don't think it's a stretch at all. I think we are just beginning to understand the electromagnetic and energetic relationships between celestial bodies and biological ones. For intuitives, the Lion's Gate often shows up as heightened downloads, dreams, and visions in the weeks leading up to August 8th. Increased synchronicities, seeing 888 everywhere, noticing patterns, experiencing meaningful coincidences. A sense of restlessness or urgency, as if something is being called forward. Heightened sensitivity to others' energy. For my empaths, you may need extra shielding and grounding during this window. Messages from loved ones in spirit that feel clearer, more direct, more insistent. A sense of being at a crossroads or standing at a door you didn't know existed. For mediums specifically, the veil during the Lion's Gate can feel unusually thin, not in the way that it does at Samhain or Beltane, which have a more Celtic ancestral quality. This has a different frequency. it feels more like cosmic communication, as if the expanded energy of Sirius is widening the channel. Messages from guides, higher self communication, downloads from soul contracts. These all feel more accessible during this window. All right, let's get practical because knowing something is one thing, but working with it is quite another. Here are some ways to consciously activate and use this energy. The first is intention setting. The Lion's Gate is one of the most potent times of the year for setting intentions, not just wishes, but actual energetic declarations. And here's the difference: a wish is passive, an energetic declaration is an alignment. You're not asking the universe for something, you are declaring what is already true in the frequency you are tuning to. So try this. In the days leading up to August 8th, get clear on what you are calling in. Write it down, not in the form of I want. Write it as if it already is. I am aligned with abundance. I am in clear communication with my guides. I am living in full expression of my soul's purpose. Feel those words in your body. This is not affirmation for the sake of feeling good. This is frequency calibration. On August 8th specifically, find a quiet moment, even 10 minutes, to consciously open yourself to the portal. Breathe, ground into your body, set your intentions, and then listen. What comes through in that window is often significant. Here's another way: crystal work. Certain crystals are especially resonant during the Lion's Gate. Labradorite for receiving cosmic downloads and strengthening intuitive channels. Pyrite and citrine for amplifying manifestation and abundant energy. Lapis lazuli associated with Sirius, ancient Egypt, and the activation of the third eye. Clear quartz amplifies any intention and works as a universal activator. Black tourmaline or obsidian, essential for empaths who are feeling the amplified energy, for grounding and protection. Place them in sunlight during the day on August 8th to charge, and hold them during your meditation or intention ceremony. Third, journaling prompts for the portal. These are questions to sit with in the Lion's Gate window. Number one, what is the highest version of myself that is being called forward right now? Two, what have I been holding back out of fear? And what would it look like to release that? Three, what messages have I been receiving from my guides, my dreams, my intuition that I have been ignoring or explaining away? Four, what do I need to feel, not have, but feel 1 year from now? Five, what needs to die so something new can be born? That last one is very Lionsgate. Remember, the eight is the number of infinity, death, and rebirth. As much it is about abundance. The portal doesn't just bring things in, it also clears what no longer belongs. Stargazing and Sirius connection. If you can, go outside in the pre dawn hours around August 8th between 4 and 5 a.m. in most Northern Hemisphere locations and look for Sirius. It will be rising on the eastern horizon. You may need clear skies and a location away from light pollution. But if you can see it, that brilliant, slightly blue white star rising just before the sun, take a moment to consciously acknowledge it. You are continuing a tradition thousands of years old. You are doing what the ancient Egyptians did, what the Dogon did, what humans across time and cultures have done, turning to that star as a symbol of the new cycle beginning. Dream work. The Lionsgate window, July 28th through August 12th, is an exceptional time for conscious dreaming. Before sleep, set an intention. Tonight I am open to receiving guidance. Keep a journal by your bed. If you're a member of the Sacred Traditions community on Facebook, bring your dreams to the group. This is exactly the kind of window where the symbolic, the literal, and the prophetic all intertwine in our dream states. Don't sleep through your downloads. I want to close with what I think is the real teaching of the Lion's Gate. This portal, however you understand it, through astronomy, through astrology, through energetic intuition, is fundamentally an invitation to align, to come into coherence with your highest self, your soul's purpose, the reason you choose to come into human form and have this experience. The Lion's Gate does not do the work for you. It amplifies. It opens a window. It sends more light into the channel. But you still have to walk through the door. And the Leo energy underneath all of this is so important here. Leo is not just fire and performance. Leo, at its deepest, is the heart, the genuine heart, the place inside you that knows your own worth. Not because you've earned it, not because someone gave it to you, but because it is intrinsic. You came to human form already worthy, already magnificent, already connected to something that is 25 times brighter than the sun. The universe is not asking you to become something you are not. It's asking you to stop hiding what you already are. And that is the Lion's Gate. That is 8-8. That is the spiritual sun rising in the sky and inside of you. Go outside on August 8th. Look east before the sun comes up. Find that brilliant blue white star and let it remind you you were always the light you were looking for. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And if this episode moved you or resonated with you, if it opens something in you, I would be so honored if you'd share it with someone, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review or thumbs up. It genuinely changes the reach of this show, and I feel every single one of them. And if you'd like to support this podcast and keeping it ad free, you can buy me a coffee. The link is always in the show notes and on my podcast page at sacredwhispers1111.com. And truly, even a few dollars goes a long way towards keeping the lights on and the microphone running. Until next time, trust the portal, trust yourself. I love you, and don't forget to keep listening to those whispers of wisdom.